KRAE Cheyenne.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. I'm Larry Peroletti. He is Nick Peroletti across the way, and we are going to do Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Why do you sound like garbage today?
I don't know. My voice is really toast. We had some good discussions over on our FM side earlier today, so bear with me here. Our program being brought to you by Taco John's here in Cheyenne, where it is Taco Tuesday for today. Also, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range right across from Menards. Don't forget, breakfast served up 6 days a week. 2 at Chick-fil-A. Key of Cheyenne over in Nation Way, featuring the all-new Kia Stinger. Take a test drive. Take one home today. Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. We also want to thank Platte Valley Bank ×2, the main location over on Vanda High, the east side location, corner of College and Pershing. Medicap Pharmacy, same location as always, Bluegrass Circle right next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body with 2 locations, the main repair center, Dunn Avenue, and of course the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. The key people of Cheyenne. Give the key person a call there. That's Rachel. She's the contact person. 414-0074. She will come on by, give you a free estimate, and then send her crew by to clean it so you don't have to. The key people of Cheyenne. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. Talk to them today about special CD rates. Mondello's Pizzeria right across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Delicious Paisan cuisine 7 days a week. The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council sponsoring our program, as well as Marv's Plumbing and Heating, and they will come on by. Check out your air conditioning units right now as the heat is starting to creep back in. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. Lincoln Way Liquor, grab a cold one on the way home, pop it open when you get home. Don't drink and drive, you know the drill. Lincoln Way Liquor, 2825 East Lincoln Way. And, of course, we always get our program started with our scoreboard, and it's brought to you by our great friends at Pepsi of Cheyenne.
I got squad, so again, there is no hockey as we've wrapped up with Stanley Cup Final, ECHL, especially with the Colorado Eagles, as I think we mentioned, but again, Colorado Eagles back-to-back Kelly Cup champions as they now head up to the American Hockey League, but no basketball and no local baseball action, as well as, again, few teams right now taking a little bit of break before they head off to the respectable towns where, again, do believe Post 6 will be heading down to Pueblo. Mustangs, I do believe, will be heading over to at least western Nebraska. So, again, we'll give you those updates when those teams are playing on those days. So, I guess it's all up to you.
You mean I have to do all the talking once again?
Boo-hoo. Again, I've had lengthy lists with NHL and everything, so I get a break now.
All right. Well, we will go to...
And all it is just baseball. That's all you got to worry about.
Well, and there's nothing really going on right now.
And I'm not going to say anything about the World Cup again. Who cares? U.S. is not playing.
That's right. So, Only if Italy's doing well. That's all we
They're not in it either.
And then
They didn't make it.
Now we don't care.
Yeah.
All right, Major League Baseball. Games that will be getting underway when we get off the air. Red Sox and the Orioles at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Nats and the Yankees in the Bronx. Rocks and the Phils at Citizen Bank Ballpark. It'll be John Gray towing the rubber. He's 6-6 for the Rockies with a lofty 5.66 ERA. He'll go up against Aaron Nola, who's 7-2, 2.35 earned run average. Twins will be taking on the Tigers of Comerica. Giants and the Marlins again from Marlins Park. Blue Jays and the Rays and the Trop. Mets and the Braves at SunTrust Park in Cumberland, Georgia. The Indians will face off with the White Sox in Chicago. Cubs and Brewers at Miller Park. Reds and the Royals at Kauffman Stadium. Padres facing the Cardinals at Busch. Late games, Diamondbacks at Chase hosting the Pirates. Athletics in the Oco. They will have the Astros, Angels, and the M's at Safeco. And the Dodgers tonight go in interleague play as they will host the Texas Rangers. Our scoreboard, or lack thereof scoreboard, brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, Tea Master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it.
Compare Lincoln Way Liquor, 2825 East Lincoln Way. We're not the largest, but we might just be the best.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
According to the latest Rate Watch report, First Year Bank offers the highest annual percentage yield in the Cheyenne market for 12, 18, 24, 36, 48, and 60-month CDs. Their friendly staff is ready to answer any questions and help you open or renew your certificate of deposit. Give Carol, Caitlin, or Deb a call today at 307-632-3500. First Tier Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480, K-Ray.
Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today for Tuesday afternoon. Larry providing a little bit under with voice, you know, I don't know what. I guess you've been sneezing a lot too, Nick, so I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of us.
Well, again, I'm coming from Vegas, so I'm not used to all this.
Yeah, but my
growing cottonwood and everything that happens out here. So
I've already had controversy over on our FM side earlier this morning, so I was kind of in that that yelling mode. But
anyways,
we are back here on Wyoming Sports Talk today, and we've got our first guest. And too bad we didn't get him on here, a couple of weeks ago.
I've been hunting down the individual, but I at least finally got the contact.
We finally locked him down. Corey Williams, who's the founder of Who's Your Daddy Productions and promoter for Bare Knuckle Fight Club. And Corey, thank you so much for joining us on the program today. Do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All righty, Corey. So we're gonna get into your business first and foremost. So tell us a little bit. In addition to both Bare Knuckles, you also host many other fight promotions as well.
Correct. I promote all combat sports: boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. And it was on an MMA card where I was introduced to bare knuckle for the first time in 2007, and I became hooked on it from the get-go. I spent several years trying to mix it in with my other cards. I do a promotion called the Ultimate Explosion, which is all combat sports under one ticket price.
Now, where are you based out of?
I'm based out of Evans, Colorado.
Out of Evans, Colorado. So I would venture to say that, I guess in most promotions, are you in charge of the Rocky Mountain region, so to speak?
Yeah. I do shows all up and down Rocky Mountain. Most of my events have been in the state of Wyoming and on the western side of Nebraska.
Okay, when we had the bare knuckle show come here to Cheyenne, a couple weeks back, was your group involved in this?
It was not.
Were you approached by anybody to possibly put on this show?
I was approached by Dave Feldman, the president and owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, to assist him in doing shows 4 years ago. He wanted to try to get into bare knuckle, and he hadn't been able to do it successfully on the East Coast. I offered for him to come out and join me on a couple shows so he could see how I was doing it legally. I've been doing these events legally since mid-2014. May of 2014 was the first legal show that I did that was a full bare knuckle event.
And again, a lot of those, at least knowing that the state of Wyoming is the only state that has this at least legal ability for bare knuckle. So again, you've held most of those throughout the state of Wyoming. Have you held events here in Cheyenne as well too on the bare knuckle side?
I have. I've held 2 events in Cheyenne. One at the Redwood bar downtown, which is a part of it was part of a documentary shot by Rated Red TV for HBO. And then I did my Fight Club 1, where I launched the Bare Knuckle Fight Club, was at the Clown's Den just south of town in September of last year.
So you've done these promotions here to smaller type audiences, and this particular event that happened out the Cheyenne Ice and Event Center was before a bigger house that supposedly you and David Feldman were supposed to be in on.
Correct. Yeah, it was supposed to be a joint deal. Who's Your Daddy was supposed to be involved in the advertising and so on and so forth. My fighters, a lot of the local guys that made this bare knuckle thing possible, were supposed to have some recognition in the program, and he chose not to go that route with it. In addition to that, a lot of the artwork he did use and took on as his. The logo with the fist says Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship was a design of mine. I designed that for a championship belt, not for a company, and he took it as his company's name and ran with trying to brand it.
So you do own the copyright?
I own a trademark on it.
But you do. You own the copyright. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page there.
Well, also too for you, Corey, as we've kind of, at least for myself, kind of alluded to with you. Again, you've been here in the city of Cheyenne. You've held many events throughout the state of Wyoming, especially on the bare knuckle. My main issue then with at least the Feldman kind of production that came out to Cheyenne, where we saw that advertising, it was all over the place, and we get it. Again, they had a lot of promotion for it, but they advertised it as the first ever legally sanctioned bare knuckle fight. Well, to me, it sounds like that's a little bit maybe misinformation on their behalf then? If you've already held fights here, again, that were all legally sanctioned, and we talked with Brian Pedersen as well, too, of beforehand as well, then is that a situation where Feldman's incorrect on saying that that was the first ever event over there at the Ice and Event Center?
He is incorrect. It was not the first ever event in Wyoming that was legal, by no means. He held the first state-regulated event. That's all that he did. And the way he came in to even do that was sneaky as well. I held an event on the 17th of March in Casper, just north of Casper at the hangar in Bar None. And I announced at that event that my next show, which I was looking at doing in August, was going to be the first sanctioned event for the state of Wyoming. I'd spoken to Brian and knew that they were voting the Monday after my event, doing the final read-through and vote on the rules and regulations, and we're going to enact regulation of it. And I made the mistake of announcing that on a broadcast, and because of that, Feldman was watching that broadcast, and he came in and got a date before me, as close to the start date of June 1st as he possibly could. I had been working with him on doing a show together at the Ice Arena. I'm the one that gave him the contact information for it, and he kind of snuck in behind me to run with it. On top of that, everything he did was advertising was a complete lie. He was going after trying to take credit for what I did with my team. You know, the kids from Wyoming and Colorado that made this a reality for the entire country, really, by stealing the legal, quote unquote, legal claim from us, especially in the national media. I mean, it's these local kids that deserved to have their names in light, not ex-UFC fighters and Dave Feldman.
All right, and also, too, just so we can throw it out on the table, and Nick, you have. I know I tried to get a hold of Mr. Feldman as well, but mine was more on the business side. I know you've tried to reach out to him as well, and he has yet to respond to our calls. So, and we've left him messages.
And again, kind of poo-pooed it at this point where you had your chance, Feldman.
We're talking to Corey Williams, who's the founder of Who's Your Daddy Productions, the promoter for Bare Knuckle Fight Club. So let's get down to the meat and potatoes of all of this situation. So, as you claim, Corey, that he snuck behind you, you have filed a lawsuit against Mr. Feldman,
and this was back in early part of May, so we've known about it quite some time.
Yeah, so this is nothing new, but tell us specifically what you are looking for in this lawsuit.
The initial suit was filed basically for defamation of character. He's run around telling people that there was a guy here doing shows illegally. He admitted that I was here, that I just wasn't doing shows legally. He's claimed it as being a quote-unquote gray area, and all kinds of different ways to phrase it to push back what I was doing. So it became, it pulled himself back to the front as being the quote-unquote first illegal. So I'm stealing, he's stealing that from me, which is essentially what I filed the suit for defamation of character. He's calling me a criminal by saying the dozen events that I've done in Wyoming, I've done bare knuckle in Wyoming that were completely legal. He's running around telling people weren't legal. He's the first one to do one legally.
So, is that something where, again, as we talk with Brian Pedersen, again, who is chairman of the board of the, at least MMA board here in the state of Wyoming, is that something where you could kind of go to Brian and say, hey, or at least in this trial, essentially, where Brian should be able to say, no, everything you've done at this point has been illegal. Again, as we know that this state is the only one in the union that's allowing this, that at least someone on that MMA board should be able to kind of go, no, everything you've done has been fair and legal. Right?
Well, if you watch the pre-fight press conference on Mr. Feldman's website, Brian alluded to that on his speech in the press conference, that the reason that it is sanctioned here is because we had a Wyoming resident and Wyoming fighters that were already doing this, and they wanted to be sanctioned. They wanted to be regulated. They wanted it to have that legitimate recognition. So that's why they chose to do it. Because it was already happening. So he's already come out publicly and said that. In a post-fight interview that was done, I believe it was on for USA Today, there was a video clip on there where Feldman did finally come out and say that there was a promoter that's been doing these legally here for years, and he just opened the door for me to come in and do the first legally sanctioned one. I don't know why he keeps attaching the legal term to it, because this has been happening legally here for several years. So why he is obsessed with that particular word, I'm not entirely sure. The part that's the part I'm the most upset about, is because not only did he take it from me, but he took it from all these local kids that are actually in there fighting. They're not the level of competition that he brought in, quite evidently, with the former UFC world champion and Bellator veterans and so on and so forth. But they deserve the right to have their name in lights, because they're the ones that make this happen. You know, there's going to be a transition period that those better athletes come along, absolutely, but give these kids their just due, because they're the ones that literally bled and sweat to make this a reality.
So on the fight card that happened at the Cheyenne Ice and Event Center, these were none of your people from your group that fought in this particular bare-knuckle event?
There was none of them on there were from my group. There was one young lady that fought, Alma Garcia, that I've dealt with in boxing a little bit, but she's not directly one of my fighters and has not participated in any of my events. I know her because we're in the same circuit as far as professional boxing. The Eric Prindle I know, but he's never competed on my events. In fact, I beat Eric Prindle in the Colorado Golden Gloves in 2003 when he was on the All-Army team. So it was, I knew a lot of the people that were on the card, but none of them directly competed for me. There's another lawsuit that's coming down the pipe that's going to be filed sometime in the next week or so for trademark infringement, because he's got my stuff all over his advertising. The website he chose, I've had my website is bareknucklefc.tv. I've had that website up since April of last year. He launched a website a couple weeks before this show, bareknuckle.tv. He named his Facebook page Bare Knuckle FC. Well, Bare Knuckle FC is my logo. I have a trademark for that too. He's tried coming back and trademarking the words and just the words Bare Knuckle FC, the letters individually instead of the artwork. I mean, he's playing all kinds of stupid games to gain the little bit of ground, to take the little bit of ground that I've gained in doing this over the last 10 years.
Corey, so if this eventually gets to a court, and it looks like it probably will, looking at there's many issues that need to be resolved in this lawsuit. Do you and in your legal staff, does it look like you'll have to subpoena various people to come in and that have said things that were in favor of Corey Williams and Who's Your Daddy Productions?
It quite possibly could lead to that. Mr. Feldman's already been in contact with me, trying to get me to settle out of court because he knows he's wrong. He's told me to point blank that he wants to involve me. He wants to do this. He's a great talker. Mr. Feldman is very, very slick fella, but I'm not falling for it. It's just I know what I'm looking for. I know what we've worked for, the direction we've tried to take the sport, and he's got different ideas. We're not on the same page as far as that goes. And he has told me repeatedly in our conversations over the last 4 years that if he is not the one doing bare knuckle, then he's going to make sure nobody is. It was his intention to get it outlawed if he couldn't get it sanctioned somewhere. So, that's part of the lawsuit as well. I mean, he's trying to gain a monopoly over it because he thinks he needs to be the only one to do it. And he put on a decent show, but there's 19 billion fight fans in the world. There's no reason there has to be one promotion. That part isn't appropriate on his part or anybody's to try to do that. Well, I'm more than willing to help anybody. I've got a promoter now from New Jersey that is following me on my event June 23rd. I have an event in Gillette on June 23rd, a bare knuckle show, and he's following me on that event so he can learn how to do bare knuckle and do it the right way.
Corey, I'm kind of confused there. Let me just ask, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but you held the event up north and announced that you were coming down to Cheyenne, and then, if I understand you right, Feldman snuck underneath you and grabbed the event before you had a chance to sign documents to put on this show. Am I following you right?
Correct.
Okay. So let's go and stop right there. So obviously there's a local group that was putting this event on. Am I right?
Correct.
So how come the local group is not involved in this lawsuit with Feldman as well? Because did you have conversations with this local group to put on the bare knuckle event here?
I hadn't contracted a venue yet. That's the part I was in negotiation with, trying to figure out where I was going to go with it. And my train of thought when I book an event, my train of thought is to get all of my ducks in a row. Essentially, I want all my contracts done, everything signed before I present it to the state. That way, there's no questions, there's no moving dates, there's no ifs, ands, or buts of where I'm going. Everything is done when I turn it into the state. When I applied for my sanction for June 23rd, I had my insurance already for the fighters. I had everything that they require done, and when I paid my fee to the state. So I was in the process of getting all that paperwork gathered in order to hold that first sanctioned event. Once he called me on, Brian Pedersen gave me a ring the week following their vote sometime and told me that they did approve it, that there'd be an official announcement here pretty soon. When he called me, I started working on putting together the exact date that I was going to do it. I looked at different venues in Cheyenne. I looked at a venue in Gillette. I looked at possibly doing the Casper Event Center in Casper as well. I was shopping around the venues that I was looking at going to for this event. I wanted a little bit larger venue than what I had been. I had been holding shows with 300 to 500 seats. Well, now that I have state sanctioning, I can go as big as I want to. So I was looking at some larger venues, some different places that I hadn't worked with before, and all of a sudden I get a phone call from somebody down in Cheyenne that's associated with the ice arena that told me that they just booked a date for bare knuckle fighting, and they wanted to know who this guy was. So that's how I found out about it.
All right, so
I want to go off of at least kind of make a little bit of a slight turn with you, Corey, off where just want to get your opinion on everything that has kind of happened. Where again, you have been amongst the state of Wyoming again, where you're talking about local fighters, and again, where we totally are on board with that. We support it, especially with the likes of Sparta Combat League, of what they've done at least here in Cheyenne, kind of promoting local talent. You as well too, but with all the recent events, especially with the Feldman character coming in and just how everything is kind of unraveled here, especially here in the city of Cheyenne, has that put a sour taste in your mouth, at least returning back here to Cheyenne and putting on events? Or do fans, and I know that you do have a loyal fan base here in Cheyenne, is it something where you can kind of say, hey, local fans here in Cheyenne, I will be back. This isn't something where the city of Cheyenne has done me wrong and I'm not coming back. Or, just what are your thoughts? Will you return back to Cheyenne and put on events?
There's several different levels with that. Am I upset with the city? I'm a little disappointed with them. Yeah, I mean, at the same time, I'm the one that gave Feldman the city's contact information. I was looking at doing an event with him. The idea was for him to come out and learn how to do it appropriately, because the reputation I know of him having wasn't good. I wanted to make sure that my people, people in Wyoming, didn't get screwed by an East Coast guy, which is why I was leading the direction I was with it. So I'm a little disappointed that they just let him jump in like they did, but it's free enterprise. The state of Wyoming doesn't have one of the best economies in the country. It's not the biggest state by no means. If you've got somebody from out of state that's willing to come in and spend a bunch of money in the local community, let him come. Let him do what he can to help the local businesses and so on and so forth. Is it going to deter me from going back to Cheyenne? Absolutely not. I'll be down in Cheyenne Thursday afternoon, looking at a venue down there as well. Prior to my bare knuckle events, the last bare knuckle event in Cheyenne was done at the train depot there by the overpass, and that's my intention, is to go back to the depot. A lot of the fans, my fans, went to Feldman's show not realizing that it wasn't me. They were quite upset. Once they got there, the style of the show was different. They weren't catered to real well. Feldman's event was catered to pay-per-view, not to the local fans. I build my events around a fan experience. I want them to be happy. I want them to come back. I want them to enjoy themselves, especially for the spending their hard-earned money to come see these events. So they weren't real happy with Feldman and the things he did at his show. So I don't blame him, especially with him confusing advertising the way he did. A lot of people had no idea that it was him. That they all thought it was me.
Again, we're talking with Corey Williams, who's the founder of Who's Your Daddy Productions, and promoter for Bare Knuckle Fight Club. I don't mean to cut you off, Corey, but again, you keep referencing to David Feldman, and again, I'm going to play devil's advocate. You say that he doesn't have the greatest reputation, so again, I'm assuming you're able to back that with other ventures that he's done where he's been called to the carpet on.
You're right. He's got a half dozen trademark infringement lawsuits pending against him. He's been in and out of federal court for all kinds of mess, and all of that stuff was brought to the attention of the commission, and they still gave him a license. I don't understand that. If he entered all of his information appropriately and he was honest about it, then as a matter of right, he gets a license. So it's kind of I have some emotion towards it. Absolutely. I'm disappointed in a lot of how it was handled. I'm glad Brian made the point to, in the public eye, to say, no, there was somebody else already here doing it. That was a very honest thing of him to do. And, I will be back to Cheyenne for absolutely certain. Finding a venue down there that makes sense for me is the difficult part. I'm not a big fan of the ice arena personally. I find them difficult to work with as far as holding events, but I'm looking at maybe doing the depot, possibly even doing a free show at the depot, not charging admission, just putting a show on and giving it back to the city for their continued support and allowing the sport to grow here.
We also have to deal with the city on the depot as well, too. So, I mean, obviously, it sounds
you're
like
damned if you do, if you're damned if you don't.
It sounds like the city of Cheyenne just doesn't want to work with it. So, Corey, real quick here, and we do appreciate you joining us here in our program today. So, are you looking for more of a cash settlement in this particular damage suit? Is that what you are looking for? How much that was possibly lost by you not doing this show here in Cheyenne? Is that what is that the punitive damages you're looking at?
That's part of it. The biggest thing for me is my reputation. Getting my just due and the just due for the people in my program. For him to take that from them is the biggest issue. That's what we're looking for. Number one is to get it on record that we were here and we made this happen. So it goes down in the history books that way, because it's these local guys that deserve that recognition, not Dave Feldman. He's an opportunist. Being an opportunist doesn't get your name in the history books. And the people that deserve that recognition should get it. The monetary end, I mean, I was gonna let the show I was gonna just step back and let the sport kind of grow. We need more promoters. I've been the only one doing this for a long time, so I want to see more people do it. That's why I've openly agreed to teach people how to do this and do it correctly. And where the issue came is him making the false claims that he did, and several of my contracts began to withdraw for me. I had a television contract for the first sanctioned show that withdrew because Feldman got a date before mine, and I had two investors that withdrew their investment from me, totaling well over $100,000 in financial assistance in holding these events. So, that was pretty well the last straw, when they start taking money from me because he's making me out to be the liar. I really didn't have a choice but to play those cards.
And to your knowledge, and again, I'll play devil's advocate again, evidently, running on your coattails, that this event turned out to be pretty successful at the Cheyenne Ice and Events Center. Again, to your knowledge, was everybody paid by the David Feldman promotion?
At this point, I can't answer that honestly. I know there was one particular fighter that had a complaint with his payment, and Dave took care of it at ringside immediately following the show. As far as the rest of them, I'm not for certain. I know Miss Garcia was paid what she was promised, and his medical insurance did cover her injuries. She got a broken hand and a broken nose that she had to be seen for. So the few people I have checked on so far, he has taken care of. I do know there are some people that are trying to reach out to him because he does have some bills due and he's not returning calls. People wanting interviews like you guys, he's not returning calls. In my experience, that's par for course with Mr. Feldman. He comes in, jumps in for what he's after, and he's gone again. And that's what my worry was in him coming here to do a show on his own. That's why I volunteered to say, hey, I'll do this, because I didn't want to see that happen to the people that have supported me over the years. And I'm sorry it worked out that way. If there's any way I could have curbed it off sooner, I would have. But it's free enterprise. He's got a right to do what he did, and I just wish he would have been more transparent and followed any follows through appropriately.
So last thought here, and then we're going to let you go. And again, we do thank you for joining us today in advance. You've already mentioned that Mr. Feldman has reached out to you or to your legal and wanted to get this thing settled before it goes to court. Let me ask you this question. Do you want it to go before a justice, or are you willing to settle and settle out of court? And what are your, I guess we could put it out live here. What are your terms?
I don't have a problem settling. I'm battling this pro se at this point. It's just me with my limited legal knowledge, but with what he's done and the evidence I have, I see it being very open and shut. Being a very open and shut case, which is why I think he's come to me as quick as he has. I spoke to his attorney, and he has an attorney in Philadelphia, and his attorney doesn't want anything to do with this lawsuit. I think that's a testament as well as to how solid of a case I have against him. So I have no problem settling out of court. I don't really have the personal time to be doing all the motions and everything with my own promotion. That's taken away from my business growing and the sport growing as well. So, I would be willing to settle because of that. I'm not going to settle for the terms that he came at me with. And essentially what I'm not worried about the financial part so much. The money he offered would have been fine. The issue I had with what he came back with is he wanted me to sign over all of my trademarks and start my company over again. Basically wanted me to give up Who's Your Daddy, everything that I have with Bare Knuckle, and start over. And I'm not doing that. I've spent too many years building this and developing this program to just walk away and let him take credit for it. That's the part I won't give in on.
And second part of this final question is, are you looking at making sure that he stays out of, quote, your territory? This, the Rocky Mountain region is your area. Mr. Feldman, you do your promotion elsewhere, back east, wherever it's allowed to have bare knuckle promotions.
He has burnt so many bridges across the country. There's several states he's not even allowed to promote it anymore because of the different things, because of different reasons in different states. But he's going to have a hard time doing promotions anywhere, bare knuckle anywhere in the country. So he's going to try to come back here. I don't know what I can do to stop him. Again, it's
can't you get an injunction against him? His promotion?
I filed an injunction with this suit. I filed an injunction with this suit, and it was initially denied by the court. I asked for reconsideration, which that hasn't been ruled on yet. So that is possible that it would come back around that way. We need more stuff like this in Wyoming. We need other promotions. We want other promotions to come here. I just want to know that the promotions are going to be transparent and honest and take care of the people that they're working with. And that's where I have an issue with Feldman. If he can show that he's doing things appropriately, then I have no problem with him being here. That's part of the sport growing. And competition for me right now will be healthy. It shows how much better my program is than his. For me to grow, I need that competition. But it should be done honestly. There's no reason to try to steal from the people that made this possible. And that's where he screwed up. I have filed an injunction. I see the injunction as being a long shot, to be fair, because that would be interfering with free enterprise on the case that's currently running. Now, the injunction on the trademark into stuff, I'm pretty sure I'll be granted that because that's a clear-cut. It's a clear-cut case. I own the trademark, and he used my logo on his ring, on his posters, on everything. So that part, I'll definitely have legs to stand on. But, do I want to see him come back to Wyoming? Not really. I don't care for the guy. I've had too many bad dealings with him, and especially after his blatant lies and his advertising. I wouldn't welcome him back by no means. But I'm not sure there's much I could do to stop him, to be fair.
Well, Corey, we appreciate you presenting your case here, and we thank you so much for joining us today on Wyoming Sports Talk.
Hopefully we can bring you back on and talk fights at least, not get past a lawsuit and just talk about fights up here in Cheyenne.
Absolutely.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Schedule, I'll give you guys a call.
That sounds great. You take care. All right, Corey Williams, founder of Who's Your Daddy Productions, promoter for Bare Knuckle Fight Club, and again, giving his thoughts on the recent event that happened at the Cheyenne Ice and Event Center, where the promotion was kind of taken underneath, behind his back, and not a happy camper about it.
And again, that's why at least on this with this show, and again, other media outlets around town can do whatever they want to. Again, they have all the rights, but with this lawsuit coming out again, and that's why we reached out to Dave Feldman. It was more so to get his thoughts on the lawsuit.
I also reached out for him business-wise, so understand my side of the coin.
You're just all about the money. You don't care about the people. But anyways,
I didn't know at the time about all of this. No, I didn't. At the beginning, I did not know about this.
Anyways, but again, regarding the situation, though, that's why we did not promote fighters out there. Again, didn't want anything to do with this upcoming, or at least that past event there at June 2nd in the Ice and Event Center. Again, it had markings just bad all around it of, again, rumblings, and again, with the lawsuit, whether it was trademark infringement or, again, anything that surrounds his character. Again, he's had lawsuits. Again, there are been lawsuits, again, that have been put as evidence within the Corey Williams lawsuit that, again, he has miles of bad road behind him, and it just kind of continues where he kind of steps into. And again, it's an unfortunate thing where, again, it did bring eyes. There are positives that did come out of that event. It brought eyes. It brought more attention to the sport, again, which does help elevate Corey Williams as much as he kind of got defamed in his opinion by David Feldman. But it also, too, it does feel like Cheyenne brought in another con man. And again, talking about this, learning about this lawsuit of how he kind of did everything, it felt like a similar kind of baseball tournament-esque style of, at least kind of a personality coming into
Corey Williams did agree to this, though, and this was most important. I don't care about the promotional part on the outside. Obviously, you had to pay the Ice and Event Center before you put the event on, but the fighters got paid, and that's what Corey... because I was very distinct on that question. Did everybody get paid? And he said the boxers of that particular promotion.
What he knew of, he didn't know all of, but
he knew that most of them got paid. So that's most important. Those that performed.
Well, again, yeah,
got
talent.
their money.
Make sure that they are
Absolutely.
taken care of.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back, and we will have more after these words right here in 1480 K-Ray. Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. Summer's coming, so now's the time to find ways to beat the heat, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634. The time is now, and the place to go is Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service for their annual model clearance sale of Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. This is your year to travel the countryside, and what better way with your Jayco RV from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And to put you on the road today, save 30% on their annual model clearance. Their savings are always the best on whatever model you select. Come see and take home your favorite today when you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com. Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Are you thinking about purchasing a home? Then Platte Valley Bank can help. With Platte Valley Bank, you can count on local decisions and expect to work with an experienced staff to design a loan to fit your needs. Just log on to pvbank.com and fill out our online application. We have money to lend, and at Platte Valley Bank, we are in the business of fulfilling dreams, enriching lives, and building our community one loan at a time.
All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Okay, good day in the weight room, boys. Remember, we lift weights for strength. For cardio, we lift weights faster. Wachowski, quit looking at your stomach, son. What you're looking for ain't there. If you want a six-pack, the easiest way to get one is at Taco John's.
Stop in for a six-pack and a pound at Taco John's. Get 6 crispy beef tacos and a pound of potato olays, all for $10.99.
Let's Olay the day and go get one right now. Last one there has to pick up Mrs. Coach from jiu-jitsu class.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 75. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 50. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 84. And on Wednesday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 52.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today after a lengthy conversation as Nick tracked down one Corey Williams who was expected.
Thanks to another party, but I will not say their name, but yeah, at least did a little digging, deep research.
Well,
and again, I just wanted to bring him on to let him have a kind of, not so much have a say. Yeah, absolutely. Again, give his thoughts, let the folks know of what this lawsuit's about, what is, his thoughts on everything. And again, I just thought it was only appropriate to let him, as Feldman has had his word around town on various media outlets. I wanted Corey to at least speak on, again, you can't poo-poo the lawsuit. Again, the lawsuit is still there. It was a situation where it's been, at least we know about it since the beginning of May, and here it is, and it's going to continue on. It might be a lengthy legal battle. We're not sure. Again, do they want to tie up monies or wrap up really quickly? Again, more power to you, Corey. Again, I understand hey, defamation, you want your name not to be dragged through the mud and kind of put in the clear. So, you do what you need to do. And again, from my angle, reading the lawsuit and the understanding, especially listening to Corey, I think it is also, too. I have to agree with him. It does sound like it is a clear and cut case against this Feldman character.
It's a 50-50 case. If this gets, if it goes, again, anytime you go to a court situation, it's 50-50. You could win, you could
especially
lose.
when as I read the word, it was trial by jury.
So you don't know.
But again, also too, I do want to be transparent as well too here on the show off. We did give Corey his opportunity to speak. David Feldman, if you are listening out of Philadelphia, again, representative of that bare knuckle fighting championship or whatever it's called. Sorry, not to kind of poo-poo it, but again, David Feldman will give you that opportunity to kind of speak your mind and give your half of the story as we do here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Again, not getting one side. Hey, David Feldman, if you want to reach back out to me, again, as he never has, but hey, if you do, absolutely, we'd love to have you on and give your thoughts.
And understand, same thing like I did with Corey. We've done our due diligence. So, as there were some references to things that were not done properly by one Mr. Feldman, it's written down. It's been brought to light that he has not been the most upright type of promoter in this business. So, you're more than welcome to come on. If you don't want to come on, I don't care.
And
it
again,
doesn't bother me. The event's already happened.
And again, credit to Corey as well, too, where at least with him mentioning, again, competition is healthy for anything, again, to build up that sport again. And something that's new, it's bringing new eyes to the, at least attention to it. And again, you want that healthy competition to say, hey, I got the best product on here or whatever's going on. It's not a situation of he was just upset and grumpy of, oh, he took over my territory. No, it was a situation of, hey, you defame me, but if you're going to put on an event, do it the correct way. Do it the right way. Don't do it kind of backward, shady situation as he did. No, give me healthy competition, but do it the right way.
Well, and also,
do it correctly.
Also, too, if you heard the conversation right, as maybe I did, and the conversation was, he is the main promoter, but he's also willing to
he's willing to train
others.
And that's what he did with Feldman. And also, too, it does outline in the lawsuit that he did, I do believe back in 2014, did invite him up to an event up in Riverton, Wyoming, same bare-knuckle event. Or at least, not to say it was a bare knuckle, but he brought him to an event anyways. Right. But again, they have had contacts and again brought him under his wing. Essentially, that Feldman was under Corey Williams' wing, and again, credit to Corey Williams as well too, doing that situation of, hey, you're going to be my competition, or you're wanting to create your own promotion. Here's how to go about doing it, or at least do it the correct way. Again, credit to him of being that outreach of saying, hey, I want that competition. I want to grow this sport. This is the only way we can do it, of getting people knowledgeable about everything.
Right, and again too, he makes the announcement in north of Casper, and then the next thing you know, he tries to come down here and reserve a venue. And it's already been taken. Yeah. So, I mean, again, if you want my opinion on this, my opinion is, well, yeah, okay, Mr. Feldman is not the nicest guy in the world, but there's also probably another party that's involved that kind of stabbed Williams in the back as well.
Yeah, possibly. Again, that's just your opinion, and I would agree with you on that, where it does sound like there were a little backhand shaking as well too, at least under the table, of going, hey, we're gonna help you out and do all this again for whatever reason that may be. But again, that's in our opinion that
Again,
I think it could be a viable possibility.
And
will
again,
we know? We maybe after lawsuit, maybe. Who knows?
And if this does go before court, as we brought up in the actual,
and it's in the district courts, at least for the state of Wyoming, so
that people can be possibly subpoenaed to come in and testify.
And some might have to.
Yeah. So again, this is I think, and one of the things that was very prominent that Mr. Williams said to us was that Feldman has already reached out to Williams to try to settle this thing so it doesn't go to court. But there's other things involved,
and that's
here.
never a good thing when you want to already settle. Again, for me, nothing against the character of Feldman or anything, not making any obligatory comments or anything. But again, when I hear settlement, that means, that kind of writes guilty.
Oh, no, it's nolo contendere.
I guess.
No contest.
No,
because basically.
But I'm just saying, in my personal opinion on that situation, again, when you do a settlement, it kind of goes, I don't have confidence that I'm going to win this. This is overwhelming. You just take this. But again, that's in my opinion.
It could get costly.
Yeah.
And again, too, here's the deal. You get 50-50. You could win, you could lose. Maybe he felt at that particular time that things mounted up against him that were not right.
What is it? The 3 scariest words in the English dictionary? Trial by jury.
So, and again, we'll keep our eye on this. And again, Mr. Williams will keep us posted on it. Again, the event happened. It's done. It's over with. It was successful here in Cheyenne.
Which again, for the sport again.
I don't know.
Did
we find out how the pay-per-view did?
I don't know,
because I know he also had pay-per-view with this, right?
Yeah, he certainly did. Again, numbers on that I do not know. Again, maybe if Feldman does join us, he can allude us to that.
Well, why would he want to join us now? He blew us off before. Why would we want him on? That's right. We want to get both sides of the story.
I think that's fair, right?
I know, but all of a sudden now he's going to join us?
Hey, he's got to defend his character, so go right ahead. But
that sounds like it's a good character.
But again, with that event going on and what happened again, with it being a sellout, with it bringing eyes and attention to the city of Cheyenne, still a good thing though. Again, good for that event, good for the city. Again, which could lead to bigger and better things. But hopefully, it is in good taste. Good, everything is done in the right and fair way here. It's just kind of funny how the city of Cheyenne, we get these good events, but there's always some sort of controversy. We just can't have it where we had a big event, it happened, it was right, good and done. But oh well, because we got another one coming up, and we'll see how that goes.
There's also a lot of question marks attached to some of the things we put on in this part of the world. All right, let's see what else we want to talk about. Coming up in the next hour, by the way,
yes,
as I see our next guest has come in. And I do want to update this real quick before we go to the top of the hour. Our next guest, Rick Thompson, head coach of the Cheyenne Mustangs, will be in, join us here in hour number 2.
Do want to mention as well, too, again, we will have Rick in studio. He'll join us here at the top of the hour, but did reach out to Ty Lane as well. We want to talk with him about the Cherry Creek Classic. Unfortunately, due to time constraints with work, he's working on building up rosters for state, and also, too, they're going to be traveling down to Pueblo for their upcoming games this weekend. Unfortunately, he will not be able to join us this week to give his thoughts, but he said, hey, maybe next week reach out to me, and we'll see if we can get him on. So we're not showing favoritism, but did reach out to Ty to see if he could come on and recap the at least Creek Classic with us as well.
Totally understandable. Again, we appreciate any time that these coaches can drop on by and chat with us here again. All we want to do is keep these programs in the public eye, let people know they're out there, and when you get a chance to see them, get out there and see them.
I mean, after this past tournament, they should be in the public eye, especially how well they're doing. I would assume so.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're talking with Mustangs right now with only 2 losses on the season.
Right. Well,
06 only with barely 6 or 7. Again, not too shabby. Again, 2 teams that just showed complete dominance down against top-level Colorado competition.
Also, over the weekend, if you missed out, and we just got off the phone with the athletic director at Cheyenne East.
You did. He didn't respond to my text. I'm kind of upset about that.
Well, because no one digs you. That's what I keep telling you this for years. They talk to me because they know.
He talks to me.
Only if
he was like my JV coach on football.
That's why he don't talk to you, all right?
I guess.
Anyway, we had some good representation, whether it was the county and the city kids at the 2018 South Shrine Bowl.
Yeah.
And one of our kids, and I'll mention the names too real quick. Hayes Fornstrom from Pine Bluffs, also from Pine Bluffs. Wyatt Fornstrom, they played for the South roster. Nico Bostic, Noah James, Ethan Ashworth, guys that we saw during the football season. Gunnar Bartlett, Matt Semler, Adrius Gallant, Riley Bolts. All of these young men had a chance to play in the 2018 South Shrine Bowl. Matt Semler got hurt, and it looked pretty serious at the time.
Yeah.
And again, it was a case of is the back broke?
Yeah,
and
very serious.
He laid on the field for some time as they carted him off, and again he.
But all indications was he got carted off, gave up the thumbs up.
That
and,
he made sure to let everybody know that he was he had extremities and he was kept overnight. But Jerry updated us on that today, and evidently Matt is back home resting and a little sore, a little bruised up, and. Anybody that's ever put on the pads before.
Yeah, a little stinger, which we've kind of seen on the basketball floor, and it just kind of gets
football.
It's debilitating.
Yeah,
but
in football, it hurts. And it doesn't go, unlike guys like me now at age 60, it takes like months for it to go away. Him, in a couple of weeks, he should be up and around and running around.
Well, if it's a
again.
back issue, you go see your friend upstairs here.
Oh, you bet. But anyway.
That's what I did when I had my back spasms. Those things just, they cripple you.
Well, the nice thing is, too, it's good to hear, though, that Matt Semler's doing well. And thank you again to Jerry Schlabs over at Cheyenne East for updating us. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back with hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And it is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Once again, we thank all of our wonderful sponsors, for without them, we couldn't put on this program. We thank Taco John's, where it is Taco Tuesday today at Taco John's of Cheyenne. Also remember, loaded potato olays, or maybe grab a 6-pack and a pound. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service, you will find them conveniently on Highway 30, where they've always been. This is the year to get the Jayco and get the RV or the fifth wheel and tour the countryside. Right now, it's their clearance sale, save up to 30%. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. Chick-fil-A for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. Always Chick-fil-A, corner of Windmill and Delrange, right across from Menards, Key of Cheyenne. Kick a few tires, take a test drive. Just like Junior did across the way there. My good friends AJ, Greg Miller, and the entire staff, they'll take good care of you. Next thing you know.
I mean, that's all I've ever bought. Well, I bought the Pontiac there, but now
Pops paid for that, but Key of Cheyenne, you're paying for your Key of Cheyenne. So again,
because I don't expect you to. You can't afford that. Not even with your credit.
Can't even afford you. All right, Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank has a couple of banking locations. East side, you can catch them right there at the corner of College and Pershing for all your banking concerns, or the original location over on Van Nuys. Medicap Pharmacy, with your doctor's prescription. Gene and his great staff will fill said prescriptions, precisely explain those medications to you. They've been doing this for a long, long time. Same location as well, on Bluegrass Circle next to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body ×2, the main repair center over on Dunn Avenue. Of course, the Auto Glass and Detail Center. You will find Heather and her great staff on Pershing Boulevard. The key people of Cheyenne, they come on by and clean your place, so you don't have to do it because,
You're not going to.
That's right. I have to mow the lawn because you can't. You have allergies.
Again,
so, anyway,
nothing grows in Vegas, and I have to get used to all this.
Anyway, get a hold of Rachel. She is the key person at the Key People of Cheyenne. 414-0074. She'll come on by and give you a free estimate. First Tier Bank, talk to them about their CD rates today at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Mondello's Pizzeria, delicious Paisan cuisine, always served up by Joe and Caesar and the gang over there at Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. The Wyoming Montana Safety Council, part of our program, as well as Mars Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. Linkaway Liquors at 2825 East Linkaway. Grab a cool one for the ride home, but don't pop it open until you get home. And remember, always drink responsibly. And, of course, our program brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. We go to the first
or at least the scoreboard.
The scoreboard.
Well, I guess the program is.
The program, too. But our scoreboard is brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne, which I am pouring into my cup.
Do you expect me to say anything? Again, there is no hockey. There is no basketball.
I also open your microphone up first for you to have your say. So have your say.
I had my say, and there's nothing to say, unfortunately. Again,
all right, then
everything's wrapped up.
I will.
I'm not going to say anything on the
Hey,
again.
silencio.
I'm just saying with the World Cup, I'm not going to say anything because U.S. is not in there
and Italy's not in there. So let's go right now. Major League Baseball: Red Sox and the Orioles when we get off the air at 5:05, followed by the Nats and the Yanks. Rocks and the Phils will be in Philadelphia. Can they snap their 4-game losing streak?
No.
And will the Middle Relief Corps blow it again?
Yes.
Very good possibility. John Gray towing the rubber for the Rocks tonight. It will be the Twins and the Motor City Kitties at Comerica. Giants and the Marlins hooking up at Marlins Park. Blue Jays and the Rays in the Trop. Mets and the Braves in the 5 o'clock hour at SunTrust Park in Cumberland, Georgia. It will be the Indians and the White Sox in the 6 o'clock hour. Cubs Brewers at Miller Park. Reds and Royals at Kauffman Stadium. 6:15 first pitch for the Padres and the Cardinals at Busch. Later tonight, it will be the Diamondbacks at Chase. They will host the Pirates. It's a good thing they play indoors because right now it's only 105 in Phoenix.
Perfect.
Me, I love that weather. Astros and the A's in the Oco. That will be at about 8:05 tonight, 8:10 the M's hosting the Angels. Dodgers in Chavez Ravine. They will play host to the Texas Rangers. And the main guy, Bartolo Colon, getting the call for the Rangers tonight.
Big Sexy?
You got that right. Hey, what is it? Not how old is he? He's like 45?
He's pushing. Yeah, I think about that.
But you know what it is? Having a 50-inch waist size. That is the new 34. Anyway, our scoreboard is brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83? Come on, you're up!
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
The time is now, and the place to go is Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service for their annual model clearance sale of Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. This is your year.
to travel the countryside. And what better way with your Jayco RV from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And to put you on the road today, save 30% on their annual model clearance. Their savings are always the best on whatever model you select. Come see and take home your favorite today when you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 75. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 50. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 84. And on Wednesday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 52.
Here, the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
You know, Nick, before we bring on our next guest, as we get a chance to talk baseball, we also want to remind folks, because the cameras are on right now, and I know our guest can be seen. You have done a fantastic job with all our social media, so let's go ahead and put that plug in real quick.
Finally, you admit to that. At least
I'm going to, once in a while, I can be a nice guy.
Does that mean I get it? Yeah, I get the compliments. Where's that on the paycheck?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I'll remind you.
All right.
Anyways,
so
20th.
Yeah, you'll.
When
social media
bounces.
Anyways, social media sides, as we are live right now on Periscope. That does translate over to the Twitter side, where you can find me at Nick Wyo Sports. Also, too, we do have a brand new YouTube page. At least it's for 1480 KRAE, as we'll be doing future projects regarding the station on there. But again, we are on a YouTube channel again via 1480 K-Ray's YouTube channel. So again, do also to have incorporated chat along with that from both Periscope and YouTube, where again, any comments, questions, concerns, I have that here in front of me, so if you do have a comment, question, concern for us, or maybe our guests, like, for instance, Rick Thompson, feel free, and we'll pass that along as soon as I see that.
Skipper of the Cheyenne Mustangs, Rick Thompson, joins us. Last time we saw you were standing at third base, and your arm was getting a little tired waving people around when we were watching the game against Scottsbluff on a very raw day from the compost facility with a nice southerly wind at Powers Field. But
I mean, that day had whether it was the compost, graduations at that time, it was a
20+ inning, third inning or something to that effect.
Yeah, 22 in the inning. We only saw 14 after
we had to go to work.
Yeah, we had to come back.
Sorry, you bored us with it. Anyway, Rick Thompson joins us, talking with us today about a very successful tournament at Cherry Creek. Yes, you didn't bring home the gold. You got the silver, but again, you worked your way through the crux of first going through the main portion of the program. You got to win to get out of your bracket into the quarters, semis, and then get into the championship. Hard road, but your kids took you all the way to the top. You got to be very happy.
I was very happy. Larry and Nick, thank you for having me on the show again. Appreciate being here. I was very happy with the way our players played this past weekend. 28 of the very top teams along the Front Range competing for a berth to the Connie Mack South Plains Regional Tournament for the winter. So it brings out the best teams, best players. And there's 7 pools. You must win your pool to advance to the bracket, which means you can't afford to drop a game in pool play. We were fortunate enough to win our pool. Played very well, outscored our opponents 41-9 in pool play. Just offensive explosion. The bats got rolling, and we're playing wood bat in that tournament against good teams, good pitching. So it was remarkable for me to see, and it was easy for me to coach that kind of game because you don't get into a lot of strategy with small ball. You just like you said, wave them around when they're splitting the gaps with the ball.
Also, too, when you're at a situation down south, and I notice it too, weather's 10 degrees warmer and different conditions. So it's almost like you're playing in ideal baseball weather throughout the course of that weekend.
It really was good baseball weather. It was low to mid-90s every day. The thing we guard against is dehydration. Making sure the players are staying hydrated. Between games, you keep them in the shade, try to keep them cooled off as much as you can. But it was good baseball weather.
Now, also, too, at this particular tournament, again, as you're going through the pool play, let me ask you this question. Do you, in between games or after a game, did you stick around and watch other teams perform? And if you do, not so much scouting, but what do you look for when you are watching these other teams play?
So we advanced scouted. We played, our first game was Thursday afternoon at 2. There were 2 games before us. The other 3 teams in our pool played. Our 2 assistant coaches went down early that morning and advanced scouted. When we finished our quarterfinal game, we played a very good team. Parker Yard Dogs, one of the top probably 2 teams in Colorado, 4 Division I commitments on there already. The teams, after we won that game, we knew we would be playing the winner of the game after us. So one of our assistant coaches stayed behind and scouted that game while I took the players back to the hotel, got them some lunch, and got them back to the hotel into the air conditioning. And so that we had a scouting report on the 2 teams playing that game, so we knew we were playing one of them the next day. So we try to get advanced scouting when we can. If we can't see them play live, we'll try to get some information off the internet. We'll make some calls to coaches. I have friends down there that know a lot of those players, know those teams, and usually can give you at least some information so you're not going into a game completely blind.
You talked about the offense, and again, we've been talking about it for however long of just how much of a juggernaut this Cheyenne Mustangs team is, but now going down, competing in a tournament where, again, you are talking about top-level teams in the state of Colorado. Again, not to poo-poo Colorado teams. Again, they're sending off, as you mentioned, again, one team has 4 D1 commitments, but with this offense, it's a situation where, as a coach, you expect it now. I mean, there's no trial and tribulations, as people might go, oh, they're playing against Scottsbluff, they're 4-7, or again, playing down lower talent. No, you played against top dogs, and you're still putting on 21-run wins and just having this offensive prowess. But for you as a manager, this is something where you almost tongue-in-cheek you got to expect this out of your kids of just how well they're doing.
Well, we've come to expect the offense, but you never know when you change the location, you're playing teams you haven't seen before, you're taking it up a notch, and you're seeing the best down there. We were averaging 11 runs a game going into that tournament. The offense exploded, and we scored in double digits in every game. We averaged 14 runs a game down there. We actually took our team average up to 12 runs a game through that tournament. We now have 7 players on the roster hitting over 400. We're hitting 405 as a team. I mean, that's pretty remarkable. And we get a lot of comments. Had a lot of college coaches come up to me after the game and said, "Coach, you got a heck of a team there. Congratulations to how well you're doing, and keep up the good work." So it's good to get those that kind of recognition.
The nice thing too is you might want to tell your kids, put away the aluminum, go with the wood.
Yeah, it was wood bat.
I'm telling you,
yeah.
You just stay with that wood. It's natural. Anyway, you mentioned college coaches or college scouts being around, and you have some young men already that are going to be moving on to the next level of baseball, but. With both programs being down there, the Sixers as well as you, again, it also highlighted the talent, and we were talking about that yesterday on the program. There's a lot of talent up here, and maybe as that program grows, the Coyotes, again, the Mustangs had to grow too. Mm-hmm. It was almost post-6, and then the Sixers, and then you guys got better each and every year. Eventually the Coyotes are going to be, that third team, but it exposed Cheyenne and those scouts down there, or college, coaches to a group of young men north of the Denver area that, hey, they know how to play baseball up here too.
Right. I think we're helping raise the awareness of coaches that there are a lot of good players coming out of Wyoming, and this is an area that they need to recruit in. They need to scout, and they need to keep an eye on players because there are a lot of good players, and I think we're helping raise that awareness.
And there's also, too, as I remember, and we were talking yesterday, there's also some Major League Scouts down there as well, too. So, you know, again, it's kind of a hit or miss situation, but they're always looking for talent. So I guess you as a coach, if one of those Major League Scouts was up talking to one of your kids, what would you recommend them to do?
Well, it's funny you say that. We did have 2 or 3 Major League Scouts down there. They gave me their business cards, one from the Washington Nationals, another one from the Arizona Diamondbacks. There was a Rockies scout there. They weren't talking to any of our players, but they were certainly watching. They asked for copies of the roster. They're making their lists out, and you don't know who all is on that list and what they see, but they're there. They're there. They're taking note, and so it's good to see them out there. You know, I think players just need to keep playing and not get too caught up in that. I think they know that there's scouts there, and you know, don't really focus on that. Focus on taking care of business on the field, and those things will take care of itself.
You know, it also, let me finish on that one thought there, going back to scouts. This also would bring up our upcoming tournament here, the Caba. If this all goes according to Hoyle, and so we all want to keep our fingers crossed on that. But would you think, Rick, that with those teams that are going to come from south, north, east, west, whatever the case may be, do you think that's also going to bring in some of those different eyes to watch this particular brand of baseball?
I hope so. For college coaches that are in the Rocky Mountain region, it's an easy travel. For area scouts that are located in Denver or northern Colorado, that's an easy drive for them. So I would expect that you would see a few coaches and scouts here to take a peek at the players that come in and see what they can see.
Now, at least going back to the offense, as you mentioned, with 4 players, or at least a few players hitting over 400, and again, just how amazing this offensive unit is for the Cheyenne Mustangs. But is that something where scouts or coaches or whoever kind of go up to you, and not that they're going to say it to your face, but it kind of has that Coors Field effect of where, you know, they're playing up in Wyoming. Those numbers are just because they don't play anyone of real significance up in the state of Wyoming. But is that something where you as a manager, or something where you kind of carry with a chip on your shoulder, but also to kind of have to tell these scouts or kind of explain of, no, I mean, look at, you know, we're 27-2 for a reason. We're playing good level opponents, that these numbers are legitimate, that these are great players that you should draft, take a serious look at, or any other case for, you know, for these Giant Mustangs.
I think in the case of scouts, they're not looking so much at your stats because they don't know how reliable they are on the scorekeeping and the opponents. They are trusting their eyes. They're there watching, and they want to see you in live action. And so really that's mostly what they're looking at. They're not really caught up too much in record, you know, college coaches maybe a little bit more. They'll take a peek, and they want to see what a guy is hitting. They want to see what a slugging percentage is. But I think pro scouts are looking more at, you know, the eye test. What do they see when they watch a guy play?
Well, 2 things also. Your wood bat.
Right.
That's what you, automatically what you get into when you go into pro ball. It's wood bat.
Right.
B, if you are a college coach, you're kind of frothing at the mouth because these guys can handle a wood bat. Imagine what they can do with aluminum as they get to the next level. So again, exactly. It's win-win if you are being asked to make copies of your roster right there, because again, it shows the strength of your ball club at this particular tournament.
Yeah, I mean, as I told you before we went on the show, I took a bunch of copies of our roster with me. We always carry those. We had so many requests for copies of roster before games each day that I was making copies in the hotel to make sure I didn't run out. So that's a good problem to have.
We're talking with Rick Thompson, head coach of the Cheyenne Mustangs. As we talked to Jay Folds when he was in here.
Hey, you got it right this time. You didn't call him his kid.
Did call him his kid, but as we were talking to him, this is the tournament. You burn through a lot of arms, and I've been there, done it, especially when we go down to Arizona. That's why we bring about 10 arms with us for our tournament. So again, you got 5 games, 6 games if I'm not mistaken, 6 games in 5 days. So there's a lot of arms that you can blast through in a short period of time. Pitchers and again too with college coaches and scouts, and they're looking at these arms as well. But how did you save and preserve arms for the semis and even into the finals?
Well, a couple things. One, we talked to our pitchers about trying to be efficient. We don't try to strike everybody out. That actually takes a lot more pitches than just get outs. If we can get quick outs with few pitches, our pitchers can go deeper into the game. The other thing that really helped us is that 3 of those 6 games we won by the mercy rule. So we had 3 pitchers throw complete games because we shortened it to a 5-inning game. Our hitters, most of which are two-way guys and pitch, also understand the importance that if you have a chance to put away an opponent early by the mercy rule that saves arms, that's important. And one of the things that I saw this week, and maybe it's a maturity level of our team, is that when we got teams down, we did not stop offensively. Our guys kept going to the plate, and they were hitting like it was a 0-0 game. They kept pouring the runs on, and we got such big leads that we knew, okay, let's just get through the 5 innings now. It's going to be a mercy game. Let's just hold on and save the arm. So that helped a lot.
That maturity level, does that carry over at least into, again, this team has to ooze just confidence of where they're at right now, especially record-wise, and then offensive prowess that they've done. But is it also, too, with that maturity level, do you need to kind of reel them back in of going, all right, we still need to play as much as we're doing great, but reel them back in of going, all right, we still need to focus on this team. We don't know what they're going to bring to the table, or are they at that level of They realize that without needing you or assistant coaches to kind of reel them back in at this point?
No, that's a very good question. I think that as a coaching staff, we constantly have to remind them that you got to come ready to play every game. You do not take any opponent for granted. You don't have any letdown games, because that's when you're going to get beat. We go to Scottsbluff tomorrow night, and I know we beat them 22-0 here, but throw that game out. They didn't throw their best at us. They had an off day, and once things got rolling, it was just a snowball effect. Tomorrow's a whole new game, and we can't afford a letdown. Our guys got to be ready to play. I mean, if you think that you're just going to walk on the field and your opponent's just going to let you have the game, you're very wrong about that. And so it's the job of the coaching staff to make sure our players are not just physically ready, but mentally ready to play the game. And in a tournament, when you game after game, that's a chore, because every time you come down from a big game, you have a big kind of a sigh of relief, and then you've got to kind of turn around and start it back up again. And so, no, we constantly have to remind them, be mentally ready to take the field and give it 100% every time.
With this tournament, at least past with Cherry Creek, expectations, did we, for yourself, again, just kind of your opinion, did your team exceed of what you did down there in Denver, or kind of meet expectations, or was it, again, as much as everyone wants to win that championship, kind of what were your thoughts of just that end result, especially just making it to the finals there?
Well, I'm almost ashamed to admit that they exceeded my expectations. I thought we would play well. If you would have told me 2 weeks ago that we were going to be competing to win the Cherry Creek Classic, I'd have said, boy, that's kind of a nice thought, but let's kind of hold that. That's an awful big reach. But once we won that quarterfinal game, then I think everybody said, hey, we can win this. We're 2 games away. The bats are rolling. We've seen the opponents. We can win this. And then your expectations change kind of in midstream. And so, they were not satisfied to settle for second place. Getting that runner-up trophy was kind of a bittersweet thing. I mean, I was proud of the fact that they were there, and I told them, keep your heads high. But because we were right there, you could see they really wanted it. And we had a chance to make history. That tournament's been around 32 years, and no team from the state of Wyoming has ever won that tournament. And that would have been something really big if we could have pulled that off. And nonetheless, I'm very proud of them. They exceeded my expectations, and it was a very good weekend.
Going back to the expectations being exceeded, and again to the maturity that you saw of your ball club, you as a coach and your coaching staff, what wowed you at this particular tournament? Whether it was the winning team, I mean, you saw a lot of good brand of baseball. Again, we brought 2 of our best teams to the forefront at the Cherry Creek Classic. What wowed you out there?
I'll tell you, there was a particular game that wowed me. It was the semifinal game. Garden City, Kansas coaches were there. They knew the team we were playing. The kid was out of one of the 5A high schools that they were putting out on the mound. He had signed to go play Midland, Texas. This is the team with the D1 players. And I said, do you know this kid that's going on the mound? I said, oh, yeah, we know him. We saw him this spring. He's 87, 88 with a good curveball. He's signed to go to Midland, Texas. You guys are going to have to be ready to go. And I said, all right, appreciate that. And I didn't say a word to the team. I said, hey, just be ready. Let's go get this. I thought we might be a little bit overpowered. We came out the first inning, and we knocked a couple balls hard right through the middle of the infield and put 3 runs on the board. And that team goes, I could tell it was like, who are these guys from Wyoming? They came back, tied the game, and we came back and took another lead, and it was just punch, counter punch. They took the lead on a 7-5 halfway through the game, and it was starting to look like it was a game that could get away, and we just pulled our team in and said, hey, dig down, okay? Dig down, grind this one out. Let's just fight tooth and nail here. And they did. We had a 7-run explosion in the 5th inning, took a 13-7 lead, and held on to win 13-10. And what really surprised me is that a guy threw an 87-88 with a good curveball, and our kids were not intimidated, and we were hitting the ball hard. We had a lot of extra base hits, and I think that game, told me that our kids were focused and ready to go and are ready to play at that level.
You mentioned the Scottsbluff game, and you throw out what happened up here. Of course, you were shorthanded at this particular point because of graduations and kids had to work, but as a manager now, and again, you have a great staff assembled around you that makes your job even that much more easier. But as a manager, and the way things have been successful for the Mustangs, it's got to be pretty easy to sit down and pen out that starting lineup for you.
Oh, I have a good idea what we'll do tomorrow night, who will be on the mound, who will be starting, and we will talk with them at practice tonight. We gave them yesterday off to rest a little bit, but we will talk tonight about preparations for the game so everybody knows what's going to be expected of them, and they can start thinking in terms of tomorrow to get mentally prepared for that game.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. We're going to chat more with Rick Thompson, the skipper of the Cheyenne Mustangs, after these words right here on 1480 K-Ray.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
If it happens on the diamond, the hardwood, the field, or even the ice, we'll talk about it on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hi, this is Nick Peretti inviting you to join Larry Peretti and myself each weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. as we, along with our special guests, talk sports locally, regionally, and nationally. And you can chat with us too at 307-514-1071. It's Wyoming Sports Talk today only on 1480 K-Ray, and you can stream live with us at 1480kray.com.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Good game, boys. You showed some real fight. Like when Wachowski put that hit on our own mascot. Solid work, son. Okay, Friday was for football, but Tuesday is for tacos. Taco Tuesday at Taco John's. It's a sacred holiday where we eat tacos repeatedly until I get full.
Save big every Taco Tuesday with crispy beef tacos for just 99 cents.
Get some rest, boys, because come Taco Tuesday, we olay the day.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. Summer's coming, so now's the time to find ways to beat the heat, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
As we continue our conversation with Rick Thompson of the Cheyenne Mustangs. Coach, as you mentioned, you are going to be heading up to Scottsbluff. You had a tournament. I think you mentioned that you are scratching out. Is that, did I hear that right with you and Nick?
Yes, later in July we had, you talked in our last show about how many tournaments we had kind of lined up in July. We had one that we had scheduled early before we knew CABA was going to happen. And with CABA starting on a Tuesday, July 10th, this was a tournament that was going to push us all the way up until games on that Sunday before, and I thought it was going to be too short of a time frame to turn our arms around, give our pitchers the rest they needed going in that tournament. It was a Northern Colorado Invitational that would have been a good tournament to play in because it's close to home. But we decided to scratch that one, and we'll pick up a doubleheader or two, in that week before the weekend, or maybe up until Saturday, and then we get a few days off before we head into Caba.
Play devil's advocate with the Caba, and we know everything. We're not going to drudge up everything, but if the negative does happen behind that, now with the schedule, do you have that ability to say, hey, Northern Colorado, this didn't happen. Can we rejoin back into this? Do you have that kind of opportunity, or is there kind of deadlines of, sorry, we can't get you in? Is there opportunity to, for whatever reason, hop back into that though, or schedule some other tournament that might be out there just in case of something this team doesn't, sign or commit, or a tournament does not happen? Do you have that opportunity?
Well, there are deadlines. You'll have until they put out the schedule to get in. With some tournaments, that might be as close to the tournament as a week. A lot of tournaments, it's about 2 weeks out. So if it's closer to the tournament than that, they probably can't get you in. So it would be tough to find something if we didn't have much advance notice.
When we talked to Jay when he was in here, and this was very important for you guys to stay down there, instead of traveling back and forth. So, and again, I'm going to be on the positive side. Caba is going to go off, and we're going to get those Colorado teams, and maybe they do stay up here, because for you saw by not traveling 100 miles every day for 4 consecutive days, in the long run, by having a hotel room, getting done with the game, like you said, going in the air conditioning, going to the pool, whatever the case may be, your kids came out and they were refreshed. They were ready to play ball. I would think this might be a benefit for those teams that are coming up here from the Colorado area to do the same thing when that tournament arrives
here.
Do
we want to tell them that?
No, but I'm just saying. But you prove something that it makes a lot of sense.
Well, playing in those hot temperatures, and
it's going to be that way in July,
and especially once the tournament location for us moved to South Denver, we were clear down in Parker. That's about 2 hours on the bus, and I do think it helped our guys be much fresher, avoiding that travel. I know there's an expense, and that means a little bit more fundraising we've got to do to cover that, but I think it made a big difference.
Always, again, you want to sleep in your own bed, but you look at this situation, and I think, too, knowing from a standpoint that, hey, we are not going to be driving home tonight. I think from a mental standpoint, you on the coaching side and the kids on the other side, hey, we got to be at the ballpark in an hour, and we are, our hotel's 5 minutes away from the ballpark. I mean, it just makes things so much more convenient.
It does, especially when you're playing the early game, and we had the early game twice, the 9 a.m. game, and if you were trying to get up and travel from Cheyenne, it would be really early, and so you're cutting down on players' sleep time that is more in their natural sleep time. So I think that extra hour and a half, 2 hours of sleep they get by staying down there factors big.
Now, at least again, you'll be heading up to Scottsbluff coming up here for this weekend, at least. Now, is that something where, again, you were in tournament play that's very competitive? Again, kind of going back at that mental standpoint with the kids, kind of going, all right, hey, we just only have one game to worry about right now, and don't let them get into it. But is there a different kind of mentality or approach as a manager with tournaments compared to just taking on a team? Just here's one game, that's all you got. There is no championship to worry about or pool play. We're taking them on. We need to defeat them, and that's it. Is it something where, as a coach, kind of things kind of differentiate between the two?
Well, one thing I think it gives us the opportunity to do a little bit of experimenting with maybe getting some different players some at-bats, getting some different arms on the mound to get them a little bit more experience. And it's not a do-or-die situation where, the tournament's riding on it, where if you lose, you're out. So you don't have that kind of pressure, and it gives you the opportunity to do a few things as a manager that you might not have the luxury to do in a do-or-die tournament game.
Is tournament play more of a hassle than a 3-game series? If you had an opportunity to play a Friday, Saturday twin bill as opposed to playing, 5 consecutive days.
I can tell you what our players like. They much prefer the tournaments. They know it's a lot more work, but they thrive on that competition. They thrive on the idea that it's do or die for everybody, and so it makes everybody raise their game, and you have sort of that peak mental focus. And so sometimes on a single midweek game, you have to work to get them to have that focus. But our tournaments are much preferred by our players. But from a coaching staff, we can work on things that are on doubleheaders or midweek games that maybe we can't in a tournament.
All righty. Well, we are going to let you go. You got practice coming up here in a little bit, so we're going to let you go do your thing with your kids. And, again, congratulations. I know, again, it's not the gold, but you know what? Like you said, they met your expectations, and you saw the maturity, and maybe
got a little bit of respect from Colorado teams as well. Again, as we talked with Jay,
and again too, I think this is also a confidence builder for your team. That hey, they don't wear an S on their chest, but I think they can beat anybody at any given day.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was a good confidence builder, and as I talked to the team, it's something that we can build off. I know that I want to use that disappointment that we had at the championship game to fuel us to some victories down the road where maybe we can bring home that hardware.
Oh boy, Scottsbluff expects something bad. I guess that. Him telling that just means, again, we saw already 22.
But you also have to expect, too, and I think Rick will agree with me on this, there could be a letdown.
There could be a letdown, and that's what we've got to guard against, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. No letdown. Can't afford a letdown.
I'm just saying, in my opinion, Scottsbluff, you should be worried. After that speech right there, be scared.
Scottsbluff has 2 junior college arms.
Got a couple of good hurlers on that
They
team.
do, and I'm really hoping they pitch them because our guys need to see that. These guys that are going off to college need to see good pitching to help get them ready. So we're looking forward to the game tomorrow night. It'll be a competitive game.
All righty, Coach, thank you so much. We appreciate Rick Thompson joining us on Wyoming Sports Talk today. We're going to take a time out. We'll come back. We'll get ready to wrap things up here for Tuesday afternoon.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned, full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy, we'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
John Mason here for Lincoln Way Liquor. I want to thank Cheyenne for helping us grow during our first year of business. We have over 5,000 new customers in our database in just 13 months. Our customers love our low prices, free ice, 2% credit for future purchases, and some really friendly service. And we always have 16 weekly specials on beer, wine, and liquor. We ask you to compare Lincoln Way Liquor, 2825 East Lincoln Way. We're not the largest, but we might just be the best.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range. Do you have a big remodeling project in mind? Then the best tool for you is a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank. Whether you are remodeling, making home repairs, or expanding, a home equity line of credit can help you finish that project. Stop in and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank.
Some restrictions may apply, subject to credit approval. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 75. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 50. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 84. And on Wednesday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 52.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame.
Let's play ball!
You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today. A busy day. We had Corey Williams on earlier explaining his side of the story concerning the bare knuckle promotion. And
that was only fair to do.
Well, yeah, and again, we've reached out both ways. You have on the Wyoming Sports
I've done
Talk
it twice.
today.
I've done it email and phone.
To David Feldman. I reached out to him on the business side. Matter of fact, I even explained myself.
He's kind of in bed with other outlets around town, so do your own thing. So again, I'll go out and get his side, Corey Williams' side of the story. Get the again, want to be fair and everything. And again, I thought he put up some great points. Again, gave us a lot of knowledge and information regarding this lawsuit, and kind of giving a character evaluation of who this David Feldman character actually is coming in from Philadelphia and putting on this event. So anyways, again, Corey Williams, thank you for you joining on the show, and also too, again, looking forward to working with him in future events, whether he brings bare knuckle back to Cheyenne, which it sounds like he's going to. Again, potentially a free event at the Cheyenne Depot Plaza. Hey, maybe.
Again, you have to get that clear to the city, pal.
Yeah, good luck with that with this town.
Again, you when people are saying, well, we'll do it at the depot instead of doing it out the ice and events. Again, it's owned by the city.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to deal with the...
He's dealt with the city. He knows that. So.
And he's not too happy with it.
Who would be?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's too happy dealing with the city right now.
You think the Stampede are happy dealing?
No, I know they're. Well, I won't speak on behalf. I won't be speaking on behalf of Steinbrenner to the west here.
He's not listening.
Let's see. We want to thank Rick Thompson here, getting a little update on the Cherry Creek Classic. Again, hopefully we can get Ty's impressions when he comes into, because again,
he said to contact him next week that he should be more available.
Well,
so.
I think they got.
He just couldn't because of time restraints. Again, he's working.
But also though,
he set up state rosters.
They did very well as well. They got to the quarterfinals. Yeah. So again, good representation by both our teams this past weekend. Moving along, we were watching today.
At least you. I don't know why you still watch ESPN. That garbage.
Well, we were watching the mini camp. So who
cares?
What do you mean, who cares?
I mean, and again, I think whoever was on that panel said it best of, it's mandatory camps, blah, blah, blah. They're going to get reps with 1s, 2s, 3s. Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. What your rosters are going to start flourishing. At least they're going to start molding into something once you get past preseason game number 1. All this stuff is just fluff. All it is just talking points for media heads or whoever wants to talk about it. For like you, again, you have nothing better to talk about. So, and again, who cares? Like, for instance, Josh Allen, he got some reps with the 1s today. Does that mean, oh, wow, we got to take a look that he's going to be the starter come game 1 for the Buffalo Bills? No. He just got reps. That's all he did. Who cares? Again, when we've talked without injuries, whatever's going to happen, you don't know who's going to be that starter. For all purposes, it sounds like it's going to be A.J. McCarron, and let Josh kind of mold into that eventually, maybe later in the season. If not, just kind of hold on to him for year number 2. But again, all this stuff, Sam Darnold getting his reps and everyone else, Baker Mayfield getting his reps. Who cares? Until it's preseason game 1 I think
we
don't know.
Wait a minute. I disagree with you. I think. And again, I'm going to throw the quarterbacks out there. We're going to talk about Mayfield. We're going to talk about Darnold. We're going to talk about Allen. We're going to talk about Rosen. Those are in the top 10 right there that were first rounders. All of them. And
are you going to talk about them when they're sitting on the bench?
Probably. Well, Rosen won't be. I don't think so. I think Rosen's going to be a starter. I really do. I think Arizona.
But again, we don't know that. We won't know that until preseason game.
Yeah, but Arizona has it's a wide open competition right now with the retirement.
That's fine. But again, if you want to talk about those top 10, let's talk about them when we know where they are on the depth chart.
Well,
not of what reps they're getting with. You can't read into any of that. Baker Mayfield's over here getting reps with the 2s. Josh Allen's getting number 1.
Saying, though, it's mandatory camps right now. And again, the good news
there's players that aren't even at camp right
I understand it, but the good news is when we were watching even Josh Allen, he's working with the 1s, the 2s, and the 3s, but again, he's getting a chance to work with the big guys, and that helps. That only can help his game because, again, here's a guy that we heard from our Buffalo rep when we were talking with him that he expects Josh Allen to be the starting quarterback.
He expects, but is it going to happen? We do not know.
I think we don't know. A.J. McCarron is going to carry the Buffalo.
No. I honestly, I'm surprised that they don't just go with Josh Allen game 1. I figure take your chances with the guy. And A.J. McCarron is not leading the Bills back to the playoffs unless they just have something miraculous happen. But it's a situation right now where with these quarterbacks, especially these top 10 picks out of 2018, I don't really care of what OTAs or who they're playing with right now. Again, nothing is set in stone for these players. Again, we don't know. Maybe that one is, sure, it's great practice. That's what they're doing. They're practicing. Well, good on them to get the practice. I think it's smart for coaches to give them the looks.
And I think in the case, too, of all of these first-rounders, they have been to the OTAs. They've also been now to the mini camps. I mean, and these guys, think about it.
Guess what? It's mandatory. They got it.
I know, but think about this, though, too. These guys have been throwing well since the season's been. I mean, they've been at, their own campus. They've been at various NFL combines.
Yeah.
I mean, they have all of these top 4 quarterbacks that I'm just using right now in the top 10 that were drafted, with Josh Rosen being picked up by the Cardinals. These guys are all in shape and ready to play football right now. So
you don't think a lot of NFL players are too?
No,
it's not like they all just go and binge on pizza.
I don't think a lot of them are in shape right now. Hence, that's why
probably
they don't come
way better shape than you are.
Well, I am not in good shape. I never said I was. I'm talking about.
You're telling me that Jimmy G, again, who signs a big contract, you don't think he's ready?
What has he been doing in the offseason? Yeah, playing a lot of golf, probably.
I wouldn't doubt it. He's probably worked out. He's done.
Oh, I'm sure he's worked out. I'm sure the 49ers
it's kind of
what
high school coaches or whoever kind of teach you, hey, here's your off-season workout. You don't think they have something like that in the NFL of, hey, you're not simulating games or anything.
Have you seen Jimmy G on the field at all? Have you seen him do any work at the 49ers facility? No.
No, I haven't been I can't tell you for sure because I haven't really been paying attention because there's been better things to do.
It's right here in front of you every day.
Sorry, I got better things to research than who is OTA and who's minicamping. Who cares? Who cares? It's practice. It's kind of like AI. We're talking practice.
Well,
practice.
Who
cares?
Practice makes you better.
Great, but does it matter to the scheme of things of if this player is healthy, if this player is ready, or anything like that? No. Give me that, or at least talk to me after preseason game number 1. As awful as that is, and we won't learn a whole hell of a lot either, too, from that, sorry. Main camps and all this does not mean anything. They're getting practice. Good on them. That's what they're supposed to do. They're getting paid to do that. They have to be there. Unlike a few other players who are sitting out, like, for instance, Khalil Mack with the Raiders, or a few others who are contract negotiations or unhappy with what they have.
Well, again, these guys have been throwing footballs, and I'm talking about Darnold and Mayfield and Rosen and Allen.
My point is you can't read too much into all this.
I'm just saying these guys are going to come into their summer camps, which begin next month. They're going to come in pretty doggone good shape. They're ready to play football, and I think they are NFL ready. Now, whether Mayfield makes an impact in Cleveland, don't know. He is behind Tyrod Taylor. You look at Darnold. Darnold may be the starting quarterback
for
the New York Jets.
No, they're still
Cowan?
Yeah, they're still believing on
Josh McCown. Okay. For the Buffalo Bills.
Again, McCarron is all signs of it's his.
Yeah. And then in Arizona, it
has to be
Rosen
right now. It has to be Rosen. There's no one else there.
Yeah. So you look at, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see the fight.
I'm just saying they're going to be ready, but again, a few of those possibly are probably not even going to see us start.
Well, the thing is, for these guys, football has been all year round, and like I said, they haven't had a chance to even catch their breath yet. Golden State Warriors general manager Bob Myers is expecting swift negotiations to resign two-time reigning NBA Finals MVP Kevin Durant, and we forgot Coach Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
So Durant,
I don't think there's an issue, and again, I don't think this is going to be newsworthy of anything. It is Kerr is going to return.
What's Durant's salary going to be?
Who knows?
4 years, $160 million. That's what they're going to throw on the table.
Good.
Well, so anyway,
give him his money, I guess. Who cares?
I thought I would throw that out there. So Kerr has 1 year remaining on his original 5-year deal.
It's a team that is unselfish. You even brought up to your surprise of Draymond Green goes, hey, even I made a sacrifice to bring KD. I took a pay cut to bring him out here. I think anyone would. I think KD, if again with this Anthony Davis talk, as much as now there's kind of trades floating out to send Clay and Draymond out that way, which would I don't know if that's kind of worth it, but
send them where?
in a trade to the Pelicans for Anthony Davis.
No.
How would that work?
It won't happen.
Surprised your brain can process that.
Anyway, so let me go back.
But I'm just saying. I'm just saying though. They should resign. There should be no issue.
You don't follow as I do. Anyway, Kerr has 1 year remaining on his 5-year regional contract. He is looking, and I guess the Warriors are going to look at giving him a multi-year extension. Kerr has stated he wants to coach Golden State for the long haul, perhaps for another decade if he can. So Warriors do.
So that tells me not to worry.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can to keep everything intact.
Is this newsworthy? No. Again, players and coaches that we should know, or at least should return, are going to. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Is KD going to move anywhere time? Again, this is a player that is committed to win championships. He's winning championships. Why would he leave?
You have the last 6 minutes. Go ahead. I'm just bringing.
No, I'm just saying. Why would they leave? Entertain that thought to me. Is there any doubt in your mind he would not sign?
I'm talking about the monies that's being thrown out. Knucklehead.
Okay, that's fine money. That's fine and dandy. He's going to get paid. Good on him.
$40 million. That is some serious wampum. I mean, again, think about it.
And that's not even guaranteed, though. Again, who knows with this AD situation? Maybe LeBron says, I want to come out to the Bay, too.
Maybe that is maybe LeBron's going to get traded to Houston in a multiplayer deal.
Who knows? But again, that contract's not even set. Maybe KD says, I'll make that sacrifice to bring LeBron in. I'll make that sacrifice if we need to keep some monies here and whatnot to bring Anthony Davis in. I'll do it. That money's not guaranteed. I think every player on that, at least in that starting role, would absolutely go and say, yeah, I'll take that pay cut to bring on and continue this championship dynasty.
Well, think about this. This is the interesting part. They play 82 regular season games.
Which is really not going to matter.
And they play...
Clearly it does not matter.
They play, we'll just say, on average, maybe 20 postseason games. That's 102 games right there. Right?
All right.
And then you look at, they don't even play worth a damn during the preseason. So you're looking at about 100-some games. $40 million. Break that down of how much he's going to make per game. That is just unbelievable.
I think he's worth every penny.
Why?
Again, back-to-back NBA Finals MVP. Again, bringing more championships to the Bay Area. Again, probably the second best player behind LeBron right now in the NBA. I think he deserves that money. I really do.
Do you think that KD can overstep LeBron James as the best player in the NBA?
If he wins 2 more championships, yeah. Again, a league and a sport that is defined by how many championships you've won. Again, why KD left OKC is, again, he wants to add titles to his legacy. LeBron, hey, I'll go down to Miami to get championships because I didn't believe that Cleveland could do it for me. I think if, say, for whatever reason, and again, fingers crossed on this and knock on wood, they get 2 more in a row and kind of go for the 4-peat, I think with 4 titles compared to the 3 LeBron's putting up, yeah, I think you would have to say, especially of the body of work that he does. Again, he has stellar numbers like LeBron. I think you have to put him in a serious discussion. If not, go, yeah, he is the best player in all of NBA at this point over LeBron James. Again, he has, what we saw in the finals, what we saw through the playoffs is kind of LeBron-esque. He's not built like him, but it's pretty stellar of the numbers that he puts up there and what he does for this Golden State team.
All right, well, we got to wrap things up here as we take a look at the clock.
Glad for your input.
There's not much more to say because you know everything. You've been everywhere, done everything. So I just sit here and listen to what you have to say.
Damn right.
And folks know exactly what comes out of your mouth.
Exactly.
Nothing. All right. Here's what we got coming up for you.
All I feel is hot air from you.
No, that's fine. You can do the program on your own. I will not be here tomorrow.
Here's what you whine and complain.
Tomorrow it will be another edition of Wyoming Sports Talk today from 3 until 5. Nick will be here. And again, join him. Me, I think I'm going to go take a nap.
Oh, stop whining.
Red Skelton times 2 on Wyoming, on our Golden Age of Radio.
Join the other media outlets and complain.
No, I don't want to be like them. I used to work for that clown. Anyway, let's see. Red Skelton times 2, 8 until 9, as we will have our Golden Age of Radio Theater, Suspense Theater from 9 until 10. And again, the best of the 50s and 60s headed your way here in just a little bit. Before we say adios, Nick has to have the floor. So
what do you mean has to? It is a segment.
You
have not created anything on this. Without me, this show would probably, well, obviously wouldn't be here. But
well, I've created one thing that you don't have, talent. Anyway, go ahead. Move along.
Please, I think others would beg to differ on that one. Again,
right.
All these segments you didn't come up with. You could be like the other boring product, and I'll do something unique and different so people can have entertainment. But anyway,
look at the Wall of Fame out there, pal.
Even you said, who cares? Of the recent events as well, too. Anyways, it is June 12th. We'll go back to the year 1990. This player recorded this. Well, again, that's kind of tough, but
in what?
Baseball. So this reliever became this after he recorded this.
This reliever became
this all time after recording this. Back in 1990,
so
he played with the New York Yankees.
It would be Goose Gossage, have to be the all-time saves leader.
New York Yankee reliever, 1990, not Gossage. Think of
Mariano Rivera.
90, he became.
I'm stumped.
June 12th, 1990. This New York Yankee reliever, Dave Righetti, becomes the ninth overall, at least ninth player to record 200 saves in his career.
Wow. Dave Righetti, former Giants pitching coach for many years, and I think he's now in the front office with the Giants.
I do believe so, but again, also to a great reliever in his own right. And again, taught a lot of, again.
I always remember Rags as a starter, but I guess he did a lot of relief with the Yanks. All right, we got to wrap up our program. It's 5 o'clock straight up. Enjoy your ride home tonight. We're back with you again tomorrow from 3 until 5, right?